Welcome to Lab 1, and we're going to go through this, and I'll show you the steps, and I'll also introduce you to the meter and how to set up the meter and get the readings. So basically, we want to look at a resistor, and we want to say how many ohms does each of these resistors have, and they're measured without any current going through them or any other device. So basically the current goes through them from the measuring device itself, and that's called a DMM. So we let the DMM do all the work for us. It's basically just hook it up on both ends and without being in a circuit and see what it is. And these are the resistor values we're going to look at. And we'll measure each one of these, and it says based on the tolerance, create a table with the nominal resistance in the first column, the color code in the second column if they are readable, and most of the time they're not, so you don't have to do that. The minimum resistance in the third column and the maximum resistance in the fourth column, and reserve a fifth column for the measured resistance, and that's what the ones we're going to look at. And the ones that we have in the kit I think are all 1% resistors, so in order to find the minimum you would take the nominal or the theoretical value times 0.99. That would give you the minimum, and the nominal or the theoretical value times 1.01, and that would give you the maximum value. So you're going to see if you land inside that range. So we're going to do these measurements, and we're going to look and see if we can get this thing to work. So here we go. I'm going to do our hookup here in a second, and we'll see if we can get this thing set up and get it running for you. Okay, so we want to add a video, and we'll get that set up here in a second. Okay, so here we are, and we're going to look at it, and all right, so this is our value that we have with nothing on it. It says overload, and this is the Keysight 5.5 digit multimeter, and hopefully you can read that value. I know it's flickering, but hopefully you can read it. Now this is with nothing attached. This would be with just the wires sitting here, and there's nothing attached to these. I've got the ends of these with little alligator clips on them, so we can firmly attach the resistors. But I have a positive lead. It doesn't have to be red, but I usually use red for my positive, and a negative lead, which I usually use black as my negative. And we're just going to set these up, and we're going to hook the resistor, the value, between these two. So basically, right now it's on overload, and I have it set up here at the top left would be my red, and the top right would be my red, and the middle right would be my black. And I pushed over here, I pushed the ohms button, which is this button right here. So I push that button, and it's going to show me my ohms. And right now it's set at nothing, so let's go back and do it again. So it should say overload, which is what it is. So we're going to go through and measure these values, and I'm just going to measure them each as I go, and I'm going to tell you as I'm doing them which one I'm doing. So here we have the 10 ohm resistor right here. I'm going to measure it. I'm going to let you do the reading. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let you read it. So this is the 10 ohm resistor. Okay, so that's the 10 ohm resistor. Okay, moving on. This is the 100 ohm resistor. Now I'm going to be sneaky. I'm not going to take these out of the packages, but I'm just going to use one of them, and I'm just going to grab on one end and on the other end. So it's 0.1 k ohms, so it's 100. I'll let you read that number, but it's 0.1 times k ohms. That's the 100 ohm. Now the 220. Here's the 220. Here's the 330. Here's the 1K, 1,000 ohms. Here is the 5.1K. Here is the 10K. Here is the 100K. And here is the 1 meg. One meg. So those are your readings. You can decide how you write any analysis about it. But basically, you have your values to fill in your table, and you should be all set. Take care and have a good day. So we're looking at Lab 2, and we're looking at our breadboard, which we're using now, and we're actually looking at it from the point of view of how it hooked up. So we're looking at the connections to the voltmeter, which we're going to use channel 2 to work with. And this is the voltmeter that we're using. It's the Keithley triple channel DC power supply. And then we're going to be reading our readings with over here with the Keysight digital multimeter. And we have the leads from the digital multimeter connected across the resistor, like we're showing it right exactly like that. So we're going to be reading voltage first of all across that, and we're going to set the voltmeter or the power supply to 0 volts. So we click on 0 and enter, and we see the value change there to 0 volts on channel 2, and we look over at our reading, and it is 1.7 millivolts. So it's very, 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 very small, and that's DC values. So we're reading a very, very, very small reading. So we're now going to go to 1 volt, and it's stabilized. I'm going to go over, and it's 0.97403 or 97390. So from now on, I'm just going to punch the numbers and let you read them. Okay, so we're going to go to okay, now we're going to go back and we're going to look at current. So in this time we're going to change the circuit and we're going to add a jumper. We want the current, we're going to take the leads off, we want the current right here, so we're going to pull the wire out, make the meter, make it read through the meter. So basically we're going to make it read through the meter, and we're going to do it just like this. So we're going to make I'm going to move over here to milliamps. So I'm going to move this to milliamps, and I'm going to click on DC amps right here. So basically I'm moving to current, and I'm moving to breaking the circuit as I showed in the picture. So I break the circuit, go over here, and I'm looking at current. So this would be 11.936 milliamps with 1K at 12 volts. So that gives us a little bit of an idea. Now what we did was we actually broke the circuit. You can see right here, and we go through the leads, so that we're breaking the circuit, making the current go through the meter and then back. Okay, so there it goes. So we're going to go back to 0 volts. So now at 0 volts, our current should be 0, and it pretty much is. That's in microamps. One volt. And then you can ignore the minus sign. If I turned the leads around, it would be positive, so it would be 0.936 milliamps, 0.9037 milliamps, ignoring the minus sign. 2 volts. $1.9669 milliamps. You can, I'm not going to read any more of them, you can read them yourself. Okay, 3 milliamps, or 3 volts. Okay, so that's the end of the road with the 1K resistor. Now I'm going to use the 5.1K resistor. So we save this resistor because we're going to get the ohms reading in just a little bit of it. But we're going to move it over to the side. I'm going to put the other one in, and let's check voltage first. Let's go through the voltage just like we did with the other one. Put the volts in, read the volts, do that whole thing like we did before. Okay, so we're going to take the jumper out, put this one in, and we're back to volts. And we're going to put the jumpers back the way we had them across the resistor. And away we go. And we're going to have to move the meter again, put it in volts, DC volts, and away we go. Okay, so there we go. We're at 12 volts. We're now going to come back Down. We're set for volts now. So we're going to go back to 0 volts, this time with the 5.1K. Three. Four. Five. Six. Seven. Eight. Nine. 10. 11. 11. 10. 12. And back to current. So back to current we go. We're going to change out the meter. Put their jumper back in. Force the current to go through the meter. Again, we have to put the extra jumper in. There's the extra jumper. Move our meter down. Set it on DCI. DCI. Add the jumper in the meter now. Start reading current. Okay, so let's go 0. Enter. 0 volts. And we get microamps. Not much. One volt. The reading is in milliamps. Again, that reading is in milliamps. The last request was for us to take the resistor and read it as just a resistance. So the 1K we're going to put on over here on volts, ohms, and amps. We're going to hit the ohms scale. We're going to read it. So this is the 1K resistor. It's reading the 1K resistor through just the way we did last lab, which is basically just reading it by itself. Of course, we have to hit this right here. Okay, so that's the 1K. Now we're going to do the same thing to the 5.1K. Take it out of the circuit, connect one side and the other, like we did before. Right here. And there's our resistor. 5.0986 instead of 5.1, and that's in K ohms. And that's your lab.